Mirabel, I won't waste your time, he said, leaning forward. Please, will you marry my son? Mirabel blinked, unsure if she heard him correctly. Excuse me, sir. Mirabel adjusted her NYSC cap as she walked towards the car lot of GrandCore Enterprises, where she had been posted for her one-year national service. She was a disciplined, well-spoken young woman who took her duties seriously. It was on one of these routine days that she encountered the exclusive CEO, Chief Oluwole Richard. The man was rarely seen around the office, so seeing him up close felt like a privilege. Hello, corper. How are you doing? The CEO greeted her warmly. His deep voice carrying authority, yet kindness. Good afternoon, sir. I'm fine, thank you, sir, Mirabel replied politely. I see you are serving the country well. He smiled. To her surprise, he handed her some money. She quietly said to herself, how does this man know I needed this money? Thank you, sir. She collected the money without blinking twice. That was the first time they spoke, but it wouldn't be the last. Soon, they began seeing each other at the car lot more frequently. The CEO always had a warm greeting, and he genuinely seemed to enjoy their brief conversations. Then one day, he called her. Mirabel, come to my office tomorrow. I have something to discuss with you. Mirabel was skeptical. The CEO barely spoke to anyone personally, so why was he asking her to come to his office? She couldn't shake the feeling that something unusual was about to happen. The next day, Mirabel stepped into the CEO's luxurious office, her palms slightly sweating. The man gestured for her to sit. Mirabel, I won't waste your time, he said, leaning forward. Please, will you marry my son? Mirabel blinked, unsure if she heard him correctly. Excuse me, sir. I see how decent and hardworking you are. I believe you'll be a good wife to my son. Mirabel's shock deepened. Sir, I have never met your son, and you barely know me. That's true, the CEO admitted, but I know character when I see it. Just take this as an appeal from me to you, or better still, name your price. Mirabel's head snapped up. No, sir, I'm not for sale. The CEO smiled. Good answer, but at least meet him first. Reluctantly, Mirabel agreed. 2 days later, the CEO invited his son to the office. He didn't tell his son anything. He just wanted them to meet. When the young man walked in, Mirabel's heart skipped a beat. He was tall, well-built, and devastatingly handsome. But there was one problem. He smelled of alcohol. The CEO introduced them without explanation. Mirabel learned his name was Oluwole Richard Jr. Mirabel forced a polite smile, but knew immediately she wouldn't do it. After the meeting was over and Richard had gone, the CEO called Mirabel and asked what she thought. She said, I'm sorry, sir, but I can't marry your son. He's not my type. The CEO stood up. Mirabel, you know what? Please make him your type. That evening, Mirabel called her mother. Mommy, you won't believe what happened today. After listening carefully, her mother sighed. Be careful and prayerful. If you don't want it, be bold to say no. Mirabel had already decided she wasn't interested. Over the next few weeks, Richard came to the office more often. Mirabel didn't know if it was a strategy by his father, but she had more time and opportunity to observe him closely. And seriously, his presence wasn't anything but unpleasant. He was arrogant, entitled, and treated people like trash. One day, Mirabel ran into him at the shopping mall. She waved, trying to be polite. Richard turned to the beautiful lady beside him and sneered. "Oh, she's just a youth corper at my father's company." Mirabel felt her heart sink. He had belittled her, making her feel like a nobody. The next day, the CEO called Mirabel into his office again. "Mirabel, I haven't heard from you. Have you changed your mind?" She took a deep breath. "Sir, I'm sorry, but I can't do it. He doesn't even speak nicely to me." The CEO sighed deeply but said nothing. Unknown to Mirabel, the CEO had already set a plan in motion. He invited her to their house when he knew only Richard was home. The moment Richard saw her, he flinched. "Why are you always around my father? Even though my mom is no more, you are too small to date my dad. Don't you have shame? All because of money?" That statement got Mirabel really angry. She stood up and gave him a piece of her mind. "You should be grateful you have a father who looks out for you. Not everyone is that lucky. You think you're better than others, but the truth is you are just a lost boy who have no direction." She stormed out of the house, fuming. She called the CEO and told him about her encounter with Richard. That night, the CEO came home and found Richard drinking again. "Enough!" he thundered. "I am trying to get her close to you, and you have the guts to think I'm dating her? You will apologize to Mirabel, set up a date with her, or I will cut you off from all family privileges." Richard's face paled. He had never seen his father that angry, and he never knew he was actually setting them up together. The next morning, Richard swallowed his pride and reluctantly went to the office. He saw Mirabel and said, "I'm sorry. Please, can we go on a date?" Mirabel was stunned. After everything, he wanted a date? Out of curiosity, she agreed. To her surprise, the date was beautiful. Richard was charming, and for the first time, he seemed like a different person. Maybe because he hadn't had an alcohol. They ate, laughed, and talked. Slowly, Richard started seeing exactly what his father saw in Mirabel. She's different from all the other ladies. Soon, their phone conversation became longer. Their outings turned from formal to friendly, then personal. Richard no longer spent nights partying or drinking excessively. His focus shifted to Mirabel and to becoming a better version of himself. And it wasn't because Mirabel forced him. It was because he had seen the kind of woman she was and wanted to match up. Even the office staff noticed. The once arrogant, ill-mannered Richard was suddenly kind to everyone. He started handling business affairs seriously, showing up to meetings on time, and even treating his father's employees with respect. It was a change no one had expected. The CEO, watching from a distance, smiled. His plan had worked. Mirabel had unknowingly transformed his son. One evening, as they sat together at a rooftop restaurant, enjoying the city's lights, Richard finally spoke from his heart. "Mirabel, I was a fool when I met you. I judged you without knowing you, but I've come to realize you are the best thing that had ever happened to me." Mirabel's heart raced. "Richard, I never thought we would even be friends." let alone this. He reached for her hand. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know this. You have changed me. And I don't ever want to go back to who I was before I met you. Mirabel smiled. But you know what? I think my dad should be crowned the highest matchmaker. They both laughed. Months passed and Richard became a completely different man. No more reckless behaviors, no more arrogance. Just a man who had finally found purpose. Mirabel, on the other hand, remained humble and focused. She finished her NYSC and secured a job at the firm. She never asked Richard for anything, never demanded his time or money. This made him respect her even more. One evening, Richard met his father and said, I know you are happy now, right? Your match worked. But you know what, Dad? Thank you for Mirabel. I think I want to propose to her. His father dropped the glass of wine and asked, Richard, are you still thinking? Go do the needful and make sure you get her a diamond ring. That girl is a gem. It was on Richard's birthday he decided to book a trip to the Maldives just for the both of them. As they took a walk in the beach, Richard suddenly stopped. Mirabel, he turned to her. Mirabel noticed the nervousness in his eyes. I never imagined that I would be the kind of man to settle down, but you made me want to be better. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Mirabel's heart pounded. Richard, she started, but he gently pulled out a small velvet box from his pocket. Inside was a stunning diamond ring, as instructed by his father. Marry me, Mirabel. Please, be my wife. Tears filled her eyes. She had never imagined of this moment happening like this. She had gone from rejecting him outright to falling deeply in love with him. She smiled. Her voice was shaking. Yes, Richard, I'll marry you. Richard slipped the ring into her fingers and pulled her into a warm embrace. The wedding was beautiful. Mirabel walked down the aisle in a stunning white dress, while Richard stood waiting, his eyes filled with pure love. The CEO, watching from the front row, smiled with pride. His son has finally found happiness and purpose. As the priest announced them man and wife, Richard leaned in and whispered in Mirabel's ear, Thank you, Mirabel. She smiled. You are always welcome, my husband.